Good evening, all. Chair Brendan Hogan reconvening us at 6:33 p.m. Next item on the agenda is public forum. Mr. Goulding, do we have any participants for public forum?
Yes, we do. Sharon Busher, you are up in public forum.
Yes, hi, good evening. It's nice to see Commissioner Barr. I haven't seen you in a while, but it's very good. Even though he lives around the corner, I haven't seen him for a while. So,
sorry, I'll come visit.
Okay. I'm going to speak on two items very briefly because I know my time is limited. The first has to do with the kiosk on the surface parking area by Mr. Mike's, butted by Main Street and South Winooski Avenue. And that kiosk still doesn't work. I mentioned it to the commission and the department before, but the green button doesn't work. You can't, there is another kiosk that's on Winooski Avenue, but for visitors that come into Burlington, a lot of them don't use an app, so they use the kiosk and they're perplexed and frustrated, don't know what to do. I use that parking lot, so now and again, I'm able to help them. I don't know what happens when I'm not there. Hopefully someone else can help them. But I'm hoping that it can be repaired. It really needs attention. And I know that you're going to do the ravine sewer, but that parking lot is a disaster. And people comment on it from out of town saying, how come the city doesn't maintain this? I just want to let you know that there's feedback and it's not positive. So that's my comment for that. The second piece was something that just happened that I learned that the commission actually took action on the residential parking program. And most of that was wonderful. I guess there's new technology so that the department can use a scanner electronically to know whether or not the car is registered and has a permit. The problem is for the people on the street that have residential parking, the visibility of the sticker helped us give feedback and know who was parking illegally. And without that sticker, you're blind to it. So the people, I live on East Avenue, and the people on East Avenue, we live right across from the hospital, right close to the university. We have a lot of people who violate and stay for a few hours. Sometimes that's problematic if you're having repairs and stuff done on your house and you don't need a permit that you can get from DPW for days on end. I appreciate that as something that is available. But anyways, suffice it to say that now you've eliminated all your eyes and ears, those helpful people trying to make this work for us. What happens is for all of us, this is an older section of Burlington, not a lot of off-street parking, driveways don't accommodate multiple cars. So what happens is if you're older and you have older visitors who are your age coming, there's no place for them to park. And it's problematic. So I really would like you to rethink the elimination of the sticker. I think it has value, at least for those of us here that try to make parking available for everybody. It's not just for us, it's for visitors and everyone else. We've got a restaurant at the end of the street and they use that parking. So anyways, I hope that the department and the commission will rethink the value of the sticker and potentially bring that back. I know I'm almost out of time, but I do want to give you a heads up. I understand you've expanded the number of people that are helping with enforcement. Thank you. Thank Jeff and Director Spencer. Thank you for trying to help with that enforcement. It's very much appreciated. So my comments aren't all negative, but there is an ask in there. Thank you again.
Great, thank you for the input, Chair. All right, Mr. Goulding, anyone else for public forum?
No one is currently signed up, but if anyone does want to speak during public forum, use the raise your hand feature. And seeing no one signed up, I think there is no one left.
All right. Thank you for double checking for us. With that, we'll move forward to item 6 on the agenda, the consent agenda. There's an item for draft minutes of the September meeting and holiday parking rates.
Can I make a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Please.
And I second that motion.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Barr, it's been seconded by Commissioner Montano. Is there any discussion around that motion? Commissioner Overby.
Can I just ask a question about about the holiday parking? Is that okay as part of this?
Sure.
I'm just curious about how does one use the call-in option if you're not using the Park Mobile app to get the discount if you're wanting the holiday discount? It's mentioned in the memo, but I just don't know how that would work.
The call-in system is through Park Mobile, so you're actually calling into Park Mobile. So it's still the Park Mobile service is happening via the text option or the call-in option versus the app option.
So they would just, the number is on the meter and it just says call in.
Right.
So
You'll see on all the Park Mobile signs, they tell you how to get the app, how to get to the website, and how to get to a call-in option.
okay, so they just would call the number on there and then
Yep.
they would be able to get the 2-hour.
Yep.
briefing.
Full
Okay.
transparency, I haven't done it, but I've seen the number a million times.
But it has been done. We do know it works, in other words.
Yeah, yeah.
And will they do the same thing? What do they have to give their license plate or what is their process?
Yep,
So-
license plate and credit card number over the phone. Yep.
So why would they give a credit card if they're getting 2 free hours?
Well, if they're getting, well, you still have to start a parking session. So you don't, I guess to do the 2 free hours, they might not require a credit card number. But often people are getting 2 or 3 hours of parking. So they're paying $2 or $3 and they're getting those first 2 hours free. So yeah, it all goes
I
through.
can ask you something. Somebody should just try it, but that was my question because I know I've
Yeah.
always have a concern about people that don't want to do apps on the phone, and we pretty much exclude people if they aren't using the coins. If they want to use coins. So thanks. That answers that question. Somebody can give it a try and we can figure out how it works.
All right.
Thank you. Thank
Any other comments, discussion around the motion on the table? Commissioner Damiani.
I just had a quick question. I don't know if it's about the parking rate memo. I don't know if is this the time to ask a question about it as well?
Sure.
Okay. I was just curious if there's any conversation between DPW staff and Church Street Marketplace and the Burlington Business Association around sort of incentivizing other modes of transportation into downtown, whether it's using DPW assets such as maybe like the first floor of the marketplace or a few spaces in the marketplace garage on the first floor, working with like the local motion bike parking or other incentives with other transportation options in the city.
Right. I mean, we have conversations around that concept frequently relative to the holiday program. This is really specifically about providing a discount for people that are ostensibly coming downtown to park for holiday shopping. So that's sort of the goal of this particular program.
Great, thank you.
All right. Any other discussion around the motion? All right, seeing none, we'll go to a vote then, please. I'll call roll for this. I sort of go around my view of the Zoom here. Commissioner Barr.
Aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair O'Neill Vivanco.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Damiani.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Montano.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Fox.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Overby.
Aye.
Aye for myself. The consent agenda passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving forward to item 7, CarShare Vermont lease agreements. So, welcome a intro from staff here. Mr. Paget.
So in simple terms, CarShare Vermont has two CarShare spaces in the marketplace lower garage right now already, and they would like to make one of those electrified right now. This agreement will, in essence, allow them to make either or both of them electrified. So we're just trying to set it up for the future. But the mechanics of how to allow them to make those spots electrified are a little bit complicated because they are third-party non-city entity looking to install a physical asset in a city entity. So we actually have to lease those spaces to CarShare Vermont, as opposed to what we normally do with our parking agreements. There's just a parking agreement that says you can come in and you can park somewhere. Well, this is specifically saying these two spaces are specifically for CarShare, and they have the right to install a charger in these spaces. So we have to do it as a formal lease versus a parking agreement. And in order to do a lease, we have to get your approval. And then I actually have a typo in the memo, in the motion. This actually has to authorize the mayor to enter into a lease with the CarShare, not Director of Public Works. So that was an error on my behalf. So that's the long and the short of it is we need the Public Works Commission to authorize a lease so CarShare can install charging hardware in the garage so they can have electrified CarShare cars. I think that's the short story.
Okay. Thank you for the intro. The commissioner discussion around this. Thoughts, questions, concerns?
I think this is a great idea. I think that CarShare and certainly electrifying CarShare fits into Burlington's net zero energy plan and increases accessibility for people who don't own a privately owned vehicle. So it really kind of hits the marks for all of kind of, you know, Burlington's overarching goals, equity and access. One question though is who owns and maintains the charging infrastructure?
That's CarShare Vermont.
Right, for the term of the lease, or and then
Yes.
once the lease is over,
They vacate.
they vacate, but we have the charging infrastructure. Is it we just plunk it out, or we reallocate it, or
No, it's
kind of
there. They own the charging infrastructure. So when the lease is over, they take it with them. So they would actually remove it. That's part of the difference between these chargers and the ones that are at like downtown garage, because we have down garage chargers there also. Those are actually owned by BED. So because BED is with the city, we're with the city, they can put their asset in there and we sort of don't do anything. They just come in, they do their thing and they leave, and it's all within the city. Whereas this is actually a third party owned piece of equipment that once the lease is up, they would take it back with them.
The distinction being that the public ones owned by BED are accessible to anyone. CarShare is the only one able to use these, and so they need to be proprietary to them.
okay. I mean, I see that. I guess I wonder if we have kind of right of first, like the city has right of first refusal to be able to, you know, purchase that asset from CarShare when the lease is up. It just
Right.
seems.
I believe we're doing a I should look. I believe we're doing a 3-year lease with a 5-year extension after
Okay.
that. So I think by time we get to the end of even the first round of lease, it's probably a piece of equipment that would
Begins to be obsolete.
get in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
works,
I,
but we don't want to own it, you know.
okay, I fully support this. I think this is fantastic. That's all.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Then I'll open it up to public forum. All right, let's do that. Let's check and see if anyone's interested in speaking at public comment on this item.
Just to be clear, it's 5-year initial term and a 5-year extension. Sorry, misspoke.
Thanks for clarifying.
Chair Hogan, I'll be promoting over any Borden to speak. You are you now have access to speak.
Great, thank you.
Hi, folks. Thank you.
Welcome.
And thanks for all your work on this, Jeff and Chapin. I have a question so we got to review the draft lease just this week. So we still haven't had a full kind of legal review on our side, but I just have a question about this seems like the most effective mechanism to get us to where we need to be. But I have a question about how this impacts other processes for electrifying our fleet on where we have public parking. So for example, we use the BED owned charger on Main and St. Paul, but CarShare does have exclusive use of it. It is not available to everybody. And so does it impact our ability moving forward to electrify city occupied spaces? Are we setting a new precedent here with this lease agreement?
The big difference with this lease agreement is that it's not within the right of way. So this is basically this is a city asset outside of the right of way. So it functions different than things in the road. So I don't see how this agreement would have anything to do with what's happening within the right of way. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't see it. I don't know, Chapin, do you have a perspective on that?
I mean, I think this is the guidance we received from our city attorney as it related to this asset in the parking garage on a parcel. To Jeff's point, we haven't recently asked about the city attorney's direction as it relates to installation in the public right of way. So happy to work with you on that. I think the one thing the memo hits on, Director Borden, that we didn't speak to explicitly here at the meeting is just all the benefits that CarShare delivers and how we believe with its affordability program, with its electrification of the fleet, how it's shared mobility among people who can't afford vehicles, that the city is comfortable making this commitment of dedicating public space to a private entity without any lease fee being transacted. So that's why staff is supporting this item and bringing it forward as such.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for clarifying that. Anyone else speaking at public comment on this one?
There is no one signed up at this time.
Great, thank you, Mr. Goulding. Commissioner Overby.
I just wanted to say I had the same thought about other people wanting to get options of putting in electric. We had a discussion about having Tesla charging stations put in over at the Hotel Vermont College Street garage, and we did not go that route because it was a very narrow user base of the Teslas. But I think your comment, Director Spencer, about the public, the broader public purpose of those two spots, probably it is setting a precedent of that. But I think you have some way of distinguishing it from say Tesla coming in and saying, I want to lease 2 spots for Tesla only charging stations. So, or some other private company, which we know they're all going in on various places and in Vermont and everywhere along the interstates and things like that. And there's several private companies that might love to be able to have their charging station put into the parking garages in Burlington. So I think it will come up again. However, I think you're already prepared to deal with it in the context of the public sharing of vehicles that CarShare provides. So you're preparing for your defense. So I support this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. With that, I'll bring it back to the commission. We would welcome a motion on this item. Anyone has one?
I'll make a motion to accept staff's
I'll second.
recommendation.
Thank you. We have a motion from Commissioner Barr. It's been seconded by Vice Chair O'Neill Vivanco. Is there any discussion around that motion? Mr. Montana, Commissioner Montana.
Just a point of clarification. So it's a 5-year initial term of lease with a 5-year extension. There seems to be just a little inconsistency in
Yes.
the packet text.
Right, the motion says 5 years, so what is there text somewhere else that says 3? If so, I apologize.
Yes, in the bulleted list on page 2, it says a 3-year initial term. So I think as long as the motion is clear through 2027, which would be a 5-year, then I think we're good.
Apologies.
Thank you, Commissioner Montano, for noticing that.
Thank you for that. Any other discussion around the motion? All right, see none. I think we're clear to vote on this motion as printed in our packet. I'll go around the horn here. Commissioner Barr.
Sorry, with the exception that you're authorizing the mayor, not Chapin,
The Director of Public
not
Works.
Director of Public Works.
Gotcha. Thank you for the reminder of that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's all me. Thank you
Sure.
for flexibility.
Okay. Is that understood and friendly to the motioner
Yes.
Yes.
and the seconder?
Yep.
Okay. Great. With that, let's go to a vote then. Commissioner Barr.
Aye.
All right. Vice Chair O'Neill Vivanco.
Aye.
Commissioner Damiani.
Aye.
Commissioner Montano.
Aye.
You. Commissioner Fox.
Aye.
Commissioner Overby.
Aye.
Aye for myself. Motion passes unanimously.
Great.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for staff's flexibility and diligence in sorting this one out.
Yeah, thanks. See you later.
See you next time, Mr. Patch. All right, moving forward to item 8 on our agenda, Director's Report.
All right. I promise I won't extend this because we're moving so expeditiously along here. Thanks to many of the commissioners here who joined us for a wastewater treatment plant tour and a tour of our pilot project for tertiary treatment to reduce the phosphorus effluent in discharging into Lake Champlain. I thought it was a great tour today. We are having another public tour tomorrow at 4:45 p.m. at the main wastewater treatment plant. The public is welcome to join us, or any commissioners who would like to come if you didn't make today's. I'm also pleased to report that the City Council on Monday night unanimously followed the Commission's lead in selecting alternative 1B for the Rail Yard Enterprise project. And will now be, we are now charged with submitting our NEPA, our National Environmental Policy Act, permit application to the federal government with alternative 1B as the city's recommended alternative. So we're excited to do that in the coming month or two. And there will be a couple fun events for commissioners and the public. The roundabout will have an opening, Shelburne Street Roundabout, in a few weeks here. I think we'll be looking at sometime in early November. Stay tuned. And then middle of November, in partnership with UVM, we will be celebrating the opening of University Place and the reconstructed corridor there. It's looking great, and it's been a good construction season. We still have a fair bit ahead of us, however. North Avenue and Allen Street are both to be paved in the next few weeks. And we are working to finish the water main replacement on North Prospect Street. So still pushing ahead, but getting the plows on the trucks at the same time. Happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you for that. So I'll bring it back to Commissioner Communications at this time. If anyone has any questions or follow-up there. See, let's start with Commissioner Montano.
That's actually outstanding news regarding all of the projects. And, I've been paying close attention to the University Place project, considering I'm traveling through there most every day that I'm on campus. So I think that's outstanding news. I am just going to like turn the attention to another intersection, another kind of point of concern that comes up a lot when we're talking about that UVM neighborhood, and that's the Colchester Prospect Pearl Street intersection. And I had a couple people forward me this post that was made online, and I'm sure there was a lot of folks that saw this incident take place. But I'm just going to read the account here. That there was a car turning left from Colchester Avenue, obviously not looking at the crosswalk, and they must have hit them pretty hard since the front bumper was hanging off. The driver stopped and waited for the cops, but this poster was concerned about the person that got hit. And there was a lot of discourse regarding this intersection that that was going on online. And then one conclusion that Reddit made was that the light should have never been left hand turn green when the walk signal is on. So it was turning left from Colchester Avenue onto South Prospect. So I walk through that intersection all the time, and there are some long sweeping turns. And I noticed that there's students always passing through at the last second, as well as a lot of vehicles aiming to travel really, really fast through there. So I think it's just important that we as public works commissioners and the department altogether always be paying attention to when these kinds of things happen, and whether or not there are changes that can be made to best respond to these like traffic patterns and incidents. But I understand that having the funds to go forward and correct these alignments and make them safer is the ultimate goal. But working quickly to minimize harm is also really important.
Great. I think your comments are well taken. If I may, Chair Hogan.
Yes.
Thanks for University Place. Appreciate the kudos. Pearl Prospect intersection is one that the department is very interested in, is advancing an improvement for. You got my attention that we should never have an exclusive left turn and a walk signal on across that path. We will have our signal tech out there tomorrow confirming that is not the case, but we will check that immediately. Long term, we are planning to do a boundary swap with UVM to enable us to align North Prospect and South Prospect. That's a funky intersection. It's got a split phase for the two misaligned portions of Prospect. If we can align Prospect, it will be a better functioning intersection for all modes, including vehicles. And that intersection does need attention. So the commission's continued advocacy for that would be welcome.
Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Commissioner Fox.
Yeah, I don't have anything super specific. I did see University Place for the first time yesterday and was thrilled to see the work that's been done. So thank you for that. Really excited to hear about the Shelburne roundabout being completed ahead of schedule. Also, it's kind of the southern gateway to the city. And so I think that's really exciting, especially to be done before winter. Yeah, just to echo Commissioner Montanu's, concerns about pedestrian safety in that intersection specifically. And I'm glad to hear that the department is already kind of taking steps on that. That's all. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Overby.
I wanted to point out three things. I think we all received a comment from former City Councilor Sharon Busher that the call-in thing for getting the holiday rate doesn't seem to work. She apparently tried using the call-in on a Parkmobile, the parking meter. Just so you know, I wanted to say I have a big concern when we start requiring people to have the apps to do anything. So it sounds like that particular isn't, the holiday rate will just not be an option for people unless they want to call in and sign up for the app. She tried it, so you might have gotten all that, gotten that comment. So I just wanted to remind, let people know that.
I will follow up on that. That's a concern for me.
Well, yeah, I have sensitivity to any of that, and it may be that I think one of the other options, and it's a long discussion in the future, but that some way that the event, that the businesses downtown can actually provide some sort of a coin or some sort of method that they can give out to their customers that is an alternative that works using the coin method. It's not like giving them quarters, but I think there needs to always be a consideration that we don't force people into using a computer app on their phone in order to participate in our culture. And we're going in that direction. And this is just one of those things that we might want to pay attention to, another alternative for that. The second thing is we all got some comments about the railroad enterprise design from the Walk Bike Council. I know the rest of us got an email probably, and I just wanted to address, make sure that we are aware of their suggestions that the shared use path that's currently proposed on that railroad enterprise is going to be sort of narrow for safety with the amount of traffic that's proposed, and that the roadway might be narrowed and also to start, slowing down the traffic. And 25 miles an hour might seem like not too fast, but it really is fast when it goes right by you at 5 feet away or less. So I wanted us to be aware of pay attention to those comments that were made. Yes, we're supporting the 1B option, but I think we need to actually think about those considerations. And I think they were well stated in that memo from the Walk By Council folks. And the third thing I want to second what Commissioner Montiano pointed out. I was not aware of this person being hit. However, again, trumpeting the roundabout is the only safe way that the cars actually separately deal with addressing whether there's pedestrians or bicycle people in the intersection. I just about got hit trying to get across Main Street to get to the tour of the wastewater plant, because I was trying to come from the north, going south on Main, across Main Street, and people were wanting to make a left off of Battery Street to go up Main Street, and another person was trying to come right. And I was in the middle of the intersection and not sure that car wasn't looking at the car that was coming and not me. Whenever you have people crossing, and I had the crossing with the little person says, you're supposed to walk now. And I was literally looking around and in fear that person was going to make a left turn and hit me, because they were looking down Battery, any cars coming, no cars coming, I'm going across. I'm making that left turn. So I think that the suggestion, and many times I made this, that Colchester, Prospect, anywhere you can possibly do it, there should be a consideration of a way to make it so that the people have to separately address pedestrians. That may not be the place for it, however, and I like your idea that make sure there's never a dedicated left turn light and a walk at the same time. And I don't know whether I don't think there's a dedicated left turn there southbound on Battery at Main Street, but it was dangerous. And if I didn't just experience it now, I fear a lot of times because of these kind of lights. It happens all the time that you're going to get potentially hit by a left turning person who's looking for cars and not a human. So those are my comments. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Barr.
So I don't have a whole lot of comments. Kudos again to the staff of DPW for all the things they're doing and getting ready and trying to finish up all these construction projects before the snow flies. I'll just make a plug again that I still see in many bike lanes, and it's not just the recycle bins, but I see trash bins and things that instead of being put on the green belt, they're being put into the bike lanes. So that causes me to have to go into the traffic and then back around again. So I don't know if we can just keep making comments to them and see if we can change that, but that's all I have.
We're happy to reach out to the haulers who are all registered with the city of Burlington. So they can't perform. We need to take further action.
Thank
So
you.
we will follow up with our own teams as well.
Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Damiani.
I just had two items. One was just echoing other commissioners' comments around intersection safety. I get off the bus stop at Battery and College almost every day. And cars sort of going, especially up Battery or down Battery, either making a left onto College Street or a right onto College Street from Battery, especially going up the hill. Sort of the tree canopy provides or blocks sort of pedestrians crossing that intersection. And there are many times where I will wait for that signal to go through and just cross heading towards Lake Street instead of first going across College and then going down across Battery. The second thing was I really appreciated staff's time today at the wastewater tour, and also appreciate Chair Hogan and Vice Chair O'Neill Vivanco for putting together the BCL event earlier in the afternoon today. And I think doing more events, more sort of those really focused groups with commissioners, I would welcome us continuing to push that forward. So thank you.
Right, thank you. Vice Chair O'Neill Vivanco.
All right, thank you. So the mom thing, I remember trying to work on Colchester Ave and Prospect Street when my first kid was little. She's gonna be 21 in a couple months. It's gotten better, but we can still make improvements. And I kind of think onto the intersection at Pearl and Winooski. I know there's a term for it, and it is totally escaping me, where all the pedestrian signals go at the same time. I think in some of these heavily pedestrian areas, what's the term? I can't think of it.
Barn dance.
Yeah,
Or
barn
scramble.
Okay.
Those who don't.
To consider that barn dance, scramble, whatever it is, for some of those really kind of high pedestrian traffic areas. So thanks to Public Works staff for looking into that. I know that is a dicey intersection. And I do want to invite all our Public Works staff and commissioners to the Halloween bike ride. It is run through our partners at Parks Rec, Waterfront, Cemeteries, and whatever else they take care of, starting on Sunday, the 30th of October at 1:30 p.m. It's meeting at City Hall Park, and the route is going to take us with a police escort, God willing, up through the roundabout, and it will end up at Roosevelt Park. So if you want the first ride, maybe the second one, because I did it with John Adams College last week, but if you want the second bike ride through the roundabout, join us for the Halloween bike ride. And I think that's it. So thanks really to staff for the time today with the wastewater treatment plant. I love Megan. I love Matt now. That was really great. And for this amazing construction season, to see a lot of these projects like run to completion. Kudos to your team. Thanks.
All right.
Share some of your perspectives on Pearl and Prospect. I was a Ward 1 city councilor back in 1998, and that was the top safety concern in the ward back then. And we're going to get it done.
I appreciate that. Sort of on the topic of, I think Commissioner Mutano and others for bringing forward those pedestrian concerns, and I appreciate the follow-up with staff to make the quick check of this timing, signal timing, and phasing, and so forth. I want to reflect for a moment. There was an article recently about Finland, among another of nations that are outperforming the United States in their traffic safety outcomes of late. And, you know, certainly on a smaller scale, but they have like an NTSB, like National Traffic Safety Board style investigation when there are fatalities, and sort of like make aggressive investigations, like from a lot of different stakeholder perspectives, not just a written crash report from law enforcement, so forth. And then that sort of feeds follow-up and investment decisions. I know we were all sort of bandwidth constrained here, but I think we got to keep an eye on the sort of the human toll of these things as well. At the last time I checked, we were still averaging about 36 pedestrian or bike crashes with injury per year in Burlington. That's a lot. I mean, it's not outrageous given, you know, 100 some miles of roads, but it's a lot. And those are, you know, in some ways life-altering incidents. So I would certainly recommend, and I will, you know, there's one in mind last year around Halloween time, ping staff offline for a follow-up there. But it's something to keep in mind, like, you know, when there are these types of incidents, I know, you know, we don't have necessarily dollars or manpower bandwidth to take immediate corrective action all the time, but we should sort of collect our notes and rise these things up to the top, you know, certainly. So we've got them in hand for budget conversations come springtime, but just, you know, for other things that we can address and sort of bump to the top of the list for, you know, quick build processes and things. Anyway, I mean, obviously the goal would be to be moving more proactively rather than reactively, but we've got plenty of reactive improvements to make before we get there. Secondly, yeah, it's Commissioner Damiani touched on it. Report back. We met with a couple representatives from our commission, along with a couple representatives from the staff and engineering team. Met with Burlington City and Lake semester students and staff this afternoon, and had a lively and I think productive conversation centered around the Main Street, Great Streets project. And it was exciting from my vantage point to get different types of feedback from different types of perspectives, different types of road users and so forth in a way that we don't usually get through our normal meeting cycle and outreach cycle. So I think that was a great intro to our commitment to engaging youth in the city through our commission and department action, and certainly would look forward to future engagements with students. Right? I mean, we could probably cycle through a number of interesting topics across their divisions, maybe one per division per year. I don't know exactly what the right you know, frequency of these interchanges would be, but just wanted to put out that, you know, that happened today. We did it. I thought it was a nice interaction, and I think the staff and consulting team got some fresh perspective on a number of issues. All right. That's all I've got. With that, I will move to item 10 on our agenda, adjournment, and next meeting dates, November 16th.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion from Commissioner Barr. Thank you for that.
I'll second the motion to adjourn.
We have a second from Vice Chair O'Neill Vivanco. Thank you. Is there any discussion around that motion? All right, let's go to a vote then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye for myself. Any opposed? All right. We are adjourned at 7:17. Thank you all. Good evening. We will see you next time.
Thanks.
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you.